By now you might have heard of the troublesome country that is called Afghanistan. Afghanistan, historically known as Eastern Iran or Khorasan, once was the beating heart of the Persian civilization. It was home to some of the greatest thinkers, poets, mathematicians, artists, and scientists as great as Avicenna, Rumi, Biruni, Zarathustra, and Behzad. They not only contributed to the shared history of humanity, but also shaped our modern understanding of science, politics, trade, art, and culture. Growing up in the Netherlands, I witnessed the gradual transition of Europe from a war-torn continent to an ever-powerful and united union. This gives me the courage and the footsteps of European federalists and visionaries as Spinelli and Jean Monnet to dream of a tomorrow for the Persian-speaking countries and peoples. A future within which true binding elements of brotherhood and tolerance transcend the imposed national borders. Hence, despite all the pain and misery caused by the unfortunate catastrophic turn of events, we are now in a position to rethink our very foundation. Today's Afghanistan was created by an ethno-fascist Pashtun elite who were inspired by Nazism and Pan-Turkism. Within that Afghanistan, as in any dictatorship or tyrannical regime, there was only one past and one story allowed. Unlike in post-war Europe, in Afghanistan, we do not have to invent grounds and shared cultural values. The inhabitants of historical Khorasan and current Afghanistan have a collective memory of cooperation, consensus, and mutual respect that is over 1,000 years old. The only thing we have to do is to tell an inclusive story to initiate a forward-looking perspective. We have to awaken the binding spirits of the Persian culture and language. As we know, real nations with a great and rich history are never uniform, one-sided, or one-dimensional. So, memory and heritage of a nation and peoples will be essential to keep nation building forward-looking. The attention to such cultural values will strengthen the diversity and the perspectives and possibilities for a nation and people. Rich memory and deep heritage are not the ashes of the past, but the flames to lighten up the future. To achieve this, we are not in need of another war. We are in need of a cultural evolution and a persistent but non-violent resistance, a recipe proven by the great Martin Luther King and Gandhi. From these principles, Gilgamesh Foundation, of which I'm a chairman, has initiated a few long-term projects to make this cultural transition possible. First of all, we present stories of hope and wonder. This is how we are doing this, very practical. We evaluate and rewrite indigenous folk stories. We write new stories. We translate from Dutch, German, and English. So we publish attractive new literature for young people. We focus on 3 groups of children, 4 to 9, 9 to 13, and 13 to 17. And when to bring up a generation that grows up with values of gender equality, reciprocity, mutual respect, and tolerance. For this generation, no longer one story and one past, but rich diversity of heritage. Our second initiative is our participation at what might be the greatest educational program in human history. Gilgamesh Foundation cooperates with DONOC by providing a tablet to each family in remote regions of Afghanistan. By doing so, we will be able within 14 months to teach both illiterate parents and children by bringing them reading, writing, and the basics of math, physics, and so on. This can be done even without teaching personnel and physical schools. Our third initiative concerns women entrepreneurship and economic independence. Women are the majority in Afghanistan. Through the working methods of the International Labour Organization and microfinancing projects of the UN, we will help them set up small businesses. By making women economically independent and literate through our DONOC program, they will acquire their deserved position in the society and be the masters of their mind and destiny. As you see, we focus on very practical goals: literacy, cultural development, economic independence, and a culture of cooperation. The reason is simple. We need this to bring up an enduring positive peace, to quote Martin Luther King's clear and immortal words. Thank you.